Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're on episode number 175. Today is August 7th. My name is Craig Perales. Joining me once again behind the table is my brother, Geno Perales. And I do want to point out we are running a bit behind, and I hate when we do this, but unfortunately, Andrew got really sick, and we almost weren't sure what we were going to do, and I didn't want to skip another one, so I love when I can give my brother a call and he can jump on and we can get it going. So today's episode won't be bombastic, full of news and stuff. It's kind of going to be a more laid-back episode, but we do want to give, a good shout out to Andrew. Have you talked to him? When I was talking to him, he was saying he was like delirious. He thinks he might have like COVID, but I don't know that was still a thing in 2023. In August of 2023.
No, I had texted him for lunch and he just said he had some COVID. So Godspeed, Aqua Boy.
But you're looking good though. Hey, at least you have your health. So yeah, Andrew, get better, my friend, and he'll be in touch with me over the next few days to make sure when he's good to record. When I was talking to him, he was a little down and out, but I know recently I've been seeing him like pop online a little bit more and more. So I think he is slowly recovering his strength. So best of luck to Mandrew. So guys, if you're watching the YouTube version of the show, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. If you guys are interested in following us on any of our social media, our Linktree link is in the description of the YouTube video. And if you guys are listening to the audio-only version of this podcast, check us out on your podcast platform of choice. So, like usual, before we get into our main topics, in this case, questions, we like to do, what are you up to? We take a second, just talk about what we've been playing, what we've been watching. So, since, you are guest on this show today, my man. What have you been watching? What have you been playing?
Yep. So as far as watching, I just wrapped up the Mayans. So we've been watching them weekly. If you guys don't know,
I don't mind the Mayans.
I don't mind the Mayans. They're not very Mayany. It's a spin-off of Sons of Anarchy, which Renee has watched all of it. She loves it. I've watched season 1, so I know a little bit, but I never actually finished the series. But you don't have to. It's a good standalone show. But I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, and so what I did is I saved them, so I had the last 3 episodes back to back when I got home. It's a good show, man. No spoilers. The ending was very just Game of Thrones, dude. It was just fucking like everyone was just going down, which I always like that too, because I like a happy ending, dude. But sometimes I like when shit just goes south. So I wrapped that up.
And that's the latest season.
Yeah, the last season. Yeah, so I finished that up, and then I just started Twisted Metal today with Anthony Mackie. They did their little review on it. Good. I finished the first episode while I was on lunch, and I'm halfway through the second one, and so far, so good, man. I like the quality of it. I like Anthony Mackie, his acting.
Okay, you like his quirks and
the funniness of it. It is Ryan Reynolds-y, but so far I haven't been...
You didn't get any Fresh Prince out of him?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, he does have some clean Nikes that he's wearing. I don't know how they stay clean.
You notice how he only took one? Does he only grab one off that thing? But now he has a pair.
He has a whole pair of Jordans. But yeah, so I did that. I'm really looking forward to doing that. Half an hour episodes, which is I like because I can cruise through those while I'm playing a game or something like that. So that's what I've been up to. And then as far as gaming, I'm still in the Diablo 4 trap. I'm having a lot of fun. Since I'm on vacation, like I said, I haven't been playing in a while. But so I got back. The new season started, so I'm level 30. In the season, I'm level 76 in the Eternal realm. I'm playing Necro in Eternal, and I have a Sorcerer going in the Seasonal. And shout out to Venom. He's a cat out in Texas who's really been helping me out, just leveling and going through it. He's a good guy to play with. So if you're gonna play that game, it sucks playing by yourself. And he's been staying consistent. So
is that the dude that you met us and you ran?
Yeah, he ran through it. Yeah, he's still there. So staying strong. He's like, yeah, I guess I haven't seen you in a few weeks. I'm like, bro, I've been on vacation and just work and stuff like that. But he got back on and we ran some stuff and it's been fun. So I'm still playing Diablo. My next big game I'm going to be looking for, probably maybe even buy a PS5 for, is Baldur's Gate 3. So we'll see what happens.
Nice. And as far as Diablo 4 goes, you said the season's going good because I was reading some reviews that, like, it's a lot of tedious quests. It's a lot of kind of, like, I guess it wasn't exactly what people thought. Are you finding any issues with it? Just because I know you're one of the few people I know that are still playing it. Is it still worth going through?
I guess what a lot of players were having issues with is they didn't know they had to start a brand new character, which I guess was turning some players off. But if you're a player of the game, you did. It does add new boss, new epic gear and stuff, and it does add a whole new chapter to the game, and it does add a whole new system on how you level and do your points with the malignant system. So for me, I'm still having fun. I just jumped into it last week. I don't know. It's as a season, I think it's a good. They're still adding some stuff, and I think it's fine.
Excellent. So as far as what I've been watching, I kind of didn't know it even dropped. It was The Dragon Prince Mystery of Erebos Season 5 has come out, and that is on Netflix. Did you not know that? You're not familiar with this? You know this?
I watched this.
But yeah, so I didn't even know it even dropped. So I just wanted to read this real quick. It was supposed to come out on July 27th. It says, one of the questions is, when is Dragon Prince Season 5 Netflix coming out? It's been known for quite some time that the new season would be dropping in July 2023 on the 27th. However, on July 23rd, it unexpectedly saw a release of Season 5 on Netflix in full globally. And it really kind of caught me out. I was on Netflix, and I love how Netflix will pop up and say new season. I was like, wow, Dragon Prince, because that's a show that I don't feel has been out for like that long. It's been out since what, maybe 2018, and they're already on season 5 in 2023. So I like that Netflix has put a lot behind this show. It's a fantastic show. I want to give a shout out to Austin Harvey, because I know he was one of the ones that were really championing the show.
I think I introduced him to it. Me and him watched one of the whole seasons when he was down in my room, dude. Every night we were just watching it and knocked it out. I think I introduced him to it. I'm gonna take credit for that.
Nice.
But good show. That's probably what I will be doing now.
Yeah, and I did want to show that I was reading some things, and I haven't got a clear confirmation that they were saying that it may have gotten canceled, but I was looking at some other things as far back as I think 2021 was that it was actually picked up. So when season 5 was getting renewed, it actually got renewed to a season 7. So the whole story, I believe, is supposed to take place over 7 seasons. And it's one of these shows that Netflix has done extremely well, that people are actually requiring it. And this comes from Parrot Analytics, and it says, it is found that the audience demand for the Dragon Prince is 19.3 times the demand of the average TV series in the United States. And out of all their shows, only 2.7 of their shows have a demand like that. So Dragon Prince is something that is in high demand. And if you haven't seen it, I would definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. I like those cast of characters. I like the style of the animation. It's one of those things that, like, there's a character in there that does, I don't know if I think it's ASL that she does, but her animation is all real sign language that she does. So if you are someone that, can read sign language, you'll actually recognize what she's doing. So I don't know, I've really enjoyed this show, and I'm glad that it's still going. And it's even more kind of heartening to know that there's a plan to get to a season 7, because as it's gone by to season 5, it's gotten a lot darker. There's still the laughy, the kiddie tone in there, but the dark magic and all that stuff is there. So yeah, I can't wait till you start. Dark magic. There's 9 episodes that I'm currently on episode 6, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to run through it.
No, isn't it the creators who did Avatar?
I don't know if it was them per se. I know Sokka's in it. Do I have these guys pulled up?
I thought they were linked to it somehow. It's extremely kid friendly, and it's a good introduction, almost like D&D. Like there's very fantasy powers, elves,
sun elves, dark elves. It's created by Aaron Ehasz and Justin Richmond, and those aren't names that I recognize from that, but they just as well could be. So that's what I've been watching. Good. As far as what I've been playing, I mentioned this a while back too. It's Fuga Melodies of Steel 2, developed and published by CyberConnect 2. It was released on May 10th, 2023, and it came out on multiple platforms, but it launched on the Game Pass. And I remember I wanted to... It came out and I looked it up. I'm like, what is this game? And it got a lot of great reviews. It's like a 9 out of 10. It's a 90%. A lot of people gush about this game, but the problem is everyone's like, no one talks about this game. No one does it. So I'm like, oh, well, let me see if...
We will.
Yeah, wait, you know what? This guy shall. And I went to see if number 1 was on there, and it was. And a while back, I was playing it, and I beat it. And I actually beat it. So number 2 came out on May 10th. I beat number 1 on May 23rd. Ooh. And my goal was to steamroll into number 2. But I ran into this boss, I think I was telling you, that just beat my ass. And I was like, so...
He just
shit out of me. And I'm like, man, I don't want to get like stuck and do it. So it's one of those things where, I put it down for a minute, and then you play something else and you want to come back. I kind of forgot about it, and I was going through my games just to do cleanup, because I'm going to start Tears of the Kingdom, but I wanted to make sure there was nothing else that I needed to do. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I never did that. I went back, picked it up, beat the boss on my first try, and I was like, oh good. It's not as hard as I remember it.
I can continue.
Yeah, so I was on chapter 4 going into 5, and I beat 5, 6, 7, and now I'm on 8. So I think I'm going to clean that up. I won't dive into what the game's about. I've talked about it in the past episode. If you're interested in it, check it out. It's on Game Pass. It's a great RPG. And assuming number 2 is as good as number 1, which so far they've improved on a bunch of things that make it better, it's probably going to end up in my top 5 for the end of the year. And I'd love to give it praise just because, again, it's a game that no one really knows or talks about.
Another win for the Game Pass.
Another win for the Game Pass. So, guys, that is what we've been up to. Leave down in the comments below what you've been playing, what you've been watching, and let us know. Let us know if anything we've checked out is something you've seen, if you like that as well. So, again, it's a laid-back episode. There's no real big main topics that we're going to do. So we had a couple questions. A couple of them were for 2 weeks ago, and we had one that was from, I believe, today. So we're actually going to just take a few questions regarding some video games and some movies. So if you guys want to leave questions for us to answer on the show, you can do so a couple of different ways. You can email us at lastcallproductions@gmail.com. You can leave a comment down below in the YouTube section. I can grab them there. Or you can find me on any of the social medias at Craig Perales, and I can grab them there. So the first question comes from Jamie T. And they said, watch the new Castlevania Nocturne trailer, and it looks gorgeous. Love the first series and hoping the next one is as good or better. Do you think it will be? And yeah, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with the Castlevania series, the first one, I believe, launched in 2017, and it had 4 seasons, and now there's this new Castlevania Nocturne, and I thought it was kind of like the Dragon Prince, right? Dragon Prince at the end of season 3 became the Dragon Prince Mystery of Erebos. When it first aired, it was just called the Dragon Prince. So when I saw Castlevania Nocturne, I thought it was just an addition, a new season to Castlevania, but it's actually a spin-off. So let me just read this to you, and we'll kind of dive more into your question. It says, Castlevania Nocturne is an upcoming American adult animated dark fantasy action streaming television series created and written by Clive Bradley and led by producer Kevin Claude for Netflix. A spin-off to the Castlevania animated series, it is based on the video game series of the same name by Konami and adapted from the 1993 entry Castlevania Rondo of Blood and its sequel, Symphony of the Night. Set in 1792 during the French Revolution, the series centers on Richter Belmont, a descendant of the Belmont vampire hunting clan. Nocturne, as of right now, is scheduled to premiere on Netflix on September 28th, 2023, and the premise is pretty much simple so far from what we've seen. Following the death of his mother, Richter Belmont must join forces with an unlikely crew of vampire hunters and magicians to prevent a vampire-induced apocalypse during the French Revolution. So, with all that being said, watching the trailer, it looked fantastic. It looked just as good, if not better, than anything we've seen with the original Castlevania. That first Castlevania series was something kind of special. Again, it's one of these, just like Dragon Prince, it's a Netflix animated series that I think they're really taking their time and care for to make this thing kind of pop. And Castlevania got great reviews, a lot of gushing glory reviews. This one I couldn't imagine would be any less. So, I mean, you saw the trailer. What do you think about it? I mean, I wouldn't know why it would do any less.
No, I think the question asked it perfectly. It's a gorgeous, man. If you're familiar with the other ones, I think it's going to be right on point. The trailer showed all kinds. Dude, I had chills kind of watching it. The music just kind of goes perfectly along with it. You see the magic power. You see all the blood, the gore. I think it's exactly what I want in a vampire, slaying cartoon. So I think it looked gorgeous, man. Again, she said it perfect.
Yeah, I want to read this too. This comes from CBR, which is Comic Book Review, I believe, and it's they kind of point out why Castlevania has the success that it does. And it says, and again, the article will be in the description if you guys want to read the full thing. It's quite a bit long. And it says, one big reason for Castlevania's success is its subject matter. The game series has many fans, but the anime also has mainstream appeal due to its focus on Dracula and other vampire tropes. The lore of the games is fairly open, allowing for an adaptation that can easily please fans without instantly alienating new viewers from over-reliance on in-game lore. Even if you don't know Castlevania, you know Dracula. This was often a complaint with both Dragon's Blood and Dragon's Dogma, both of which tried to reel in viewers who had never played the respective games, but both failed to pull it off, leading to a more fractured experience that ended up pleasing neither fans nor newcomers. Now, there's actually a couple of different shows that are on Netflix that are game adaptations, but I like what he says right in the beginning. It's like the game's loosely based. I mean, you're going through the castle, you're hunting these demons. Let's put a story behind that, and the story they put behind that was awesome, because when you look at the first series, just Castlevania, the way they pulled off Dracula and Alucard was nothing short of amazing. When you meet Hector and Isaac, who were the devil forge masters, I'd argue that they kind of stole the show for me. It was their stories that I really liked, especially one kind of diving more into Dracula, being on Dracula's behalf, and the other one kind of being tricked by the sister and becoming enthralled, which then you get introduced to the Council of Sisters, which was kind of cool to see these women empowered in this world of vampires trying to make their own thing. And of course you meet the magician Sypha, which was traveling around with Trevor. So if they can take any of that and add, and now what would you say it was? They fast forward 200 years. I think one's in the 1400s.
The first one's set in the 1400s. This one's in the 1700s during the French Revolution. So we have about a 300 ish year gap on this one.
Yeah, so I mean, you look at Richter, I would say, is probably a lot of people's most popular one, especially when you look at things like Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't think there's anything they can do that would deter me. I mean, the more I see of this, and again, what was the storyline? They were looking for a messiah or something?
So, what I did like, well, here's the one thing too. The main, you see this in the trailer, the vampire comes up to you, he's like, your mother killed someone important to me, so I'm going to kill someone important to you. But it's like, dude, you're talking to the most famous vampire hunting clan that can possibly kill you. Why would you leave him alive?
But some of those guys like that challenge.
They do,
you know
yeah.
I mean?
So
it's like Kill Bill. It's, when she leaves the kiddo, she like leaves them alive. She's like, come find me when you're an adult.
So I'm a huge Castlevania fan. My son's middle name is Alucard. I plan on getting, that's going to be the start of this sleeve, is like the Dracula. So in this one, there's supposed to be this vampire messiah coming, and like this blood moon's coming, and they're all getting ready for it. So I'm very excited to see like how powerful this person is. Is she a descendant of Dracula herself as well? Because I'm hoping nobody's more powerful than Dracula, but if there is and there's a vampire messiah, by God damn it, I want to see it.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that both of these shows are focusing on like a strong group or singular woman, being like the lead kind of thing.
And the women look like the old mage. That's why I was kind of confused. I almost thought it was a direct sequel because the mage that they show looks a lot like the mage from the original one. So maybe, I don't know.
Well, I'm still looking up on IMDb just to see what they had on there, and they've only got people listed for one episode. I mean, it's kind of weird that it comes out in September and there's only that many named, but it does show that Alucard will still be in the show. And
he is listed in it?
He's listed, but when you're looking at the episodes, he's the only one that doesn't have like an actual episode next to him. So I'm curious of how much he'll actually get to play a role. And then, I don't know, do you think he should this be more of a Belmont? Because one of the things it was saying is it's Belmont recruiting more vampire hunters and more magicians. I wonder if they're going to be focusing more on that, and he'll kind of be more of a background player. Because in the first series, he definitely played his part.
Yeah, in the beginning. But I think the story's so strong, and it's not be stuck like on Star Wars, where we're dealing with the same people. If they can branch out, because when they make characters, they make them badass. I'd love to see the expanded world, and Castlevania has a good one, so Alucard can be peppered in. Doesn't have to be based on him, and that's what I kind of like too. Is like he might not be there. I didn't even know he was going to be in there.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Yeah, so
that's good.
Yeah, it's really cool that they're actually moving forward with it, and more Castlevania the better. So thank you for the question, and let us know what you thought down below. The second question, guys, comes from James Myers, and they write, "I saw the Kraven movie recently got pushed back due to Hollywood strikes. Do you think it will do well? Venom did good at the box office, but I thought it was okay, and Morbius completely flopped. Should Sony continue to let Marvel help out with IP like Spider-Man, or do you think they will do better with Kraven? Thanks." So yeah, you point out that it got pushed back, and it did. It was supposed to actually be released in October of 2023, which from now would just be a few months. It's been pushed back further than a year. It's been pushed back so far to August 30th, 2024. Now what's nuts is that this movie's done. It's not. They're not pushing it back for hey, it's done. They're not pushing it back for reshoots. They're not pushing it back because they're still filming and they're getting things back. It is because it has a lot to do with what's going on in Hollywood.
Oh, and there's a silver lining.
And the strikes and things like that. It's just what you get nervous is, is that going to lose some of its momentum? Is anyone going to care about? I mean, everyone's hot for Kraven right now when you watch these trailers, if you are. But a year from now, you can lose a lot of your timing, because right now is when they should be doing all the press junkets and things like that. Yeah, so let's kind of dive more into your main question and look at the movie itself. And I don't think Kraven has been in anything that's never been directly related to Spider-Man content, unlike Venom. Venom has his own comic book. He's been with other characters.
Kraven has his own comic book.
But I think, maybe nowadays, but I think one of his original things was he was originally always tied to a Peter Parker or Spider-Man type thing. At least I think so. Maybe he was. Maybe he did have some of his one-offs. But I want to say I want to start with the look. I don't know if I showed you this. Did you see this picture of Aaron Taylor Johnson next to Kraven?
Oh, no.
So they actually pull, and if you guys are watching the YouTube thing, I'll pull it up for you. There's actually a side-by-side of what they pulled from the comic to Aaron Taylor Johnson. Dude, who's just got jacked for this movie.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, dude, this guy gets bigger and bigger in every movie. So I would say, as far as the look of the movie, I mean, I don't read Kraven comics. I never really got too far into them outside of like the animated series and things like that. But I would say he nails the look. But as far as the tone, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired of everyone turning villains into somewhat good guys. Because you watch this trailer and he gets no spoilers. I mean, it's in the trailer. He gets bitten, but it seems to be like this infected lion, which kind of gives him his powers. But his powers,
Aslan.
yeah, but by Aslan himself. But his powers let him do more things with different animals as well. Because I think there's a scene where like his eye kind of switches like a bird. So
yeah, I think he was seeing in the view of the bird.
Yeah,
like he can connect with them on that level.
And I'm just kind of curious because, like, okay, well, then what's the problem? Because obviously, his dad seems to be this big villain, but he's like he brings evil into the world. I take it out. It's like, so what are you fighting, poachers? Yeah. Like, what is this movie going to be about? Because the other thing is that they're saying is it's going to be a hard R. So I know. So
hard R.
Do you think the movie looks okay? And then as far as what we've seen from the first trailer, because we probably won't get another one for another 9 months. You know what I mean? Did it look okay to you?
I say a couple things. So, with it being a property that no one really knows, like Guardians of the Galaxy, they have all the potential in the world for it to do good. I mean, Venom, I actually really like the Venom ones, and people are, the anti-hero stuff's kind of in right now. So I think Kraven's a good one. What I like that they're doing is they made it bloody as shit. Like, the trailer looks badass, dude. And this is on the trailer. When he rips that fucking dude's nose off and spits it, like, that's exactly what I want in a trailer. Like, so I'm drinking from the Kool-Aid. But we've all been fooled before, like with Morbius. So it might end up sucking. But as of right now, as a trailer, I thought it was pretty badass. The one thing I looked at was when maybe it's like a precursor when the spiders are coming down. Mm-hmm. I don't know if maybe that kind of gives him the eeriness for it. I don't know what it's about, but I kind of thought of Spider-Man when I saw
on that note, I do want to pause too because you just made me think of something. There is another Sony movie coming out called Madam Web, right? Ooh. So that may have been something that triggers. But here's the thing: Madam Web is supposed to come out in February of 2024. So does that
not anymore?
Well, what I'm saying is now that this movie was supposed to be in October and this is February.
Yeah.
If this movie's pushed back to a year and this still comes out in February, does that mess up any potential timeline, if that had anything to do with it at all?
Yeah, and it might. And to the original question, it might. Give them a say because it's supposed to be a spin-off using Kraven. Who knows how they're going to push that back.
How do you like Russell Crowe being the dad?
I'm a huge Russell Crowe fan. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So I think he's the one so far selling it for me.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. And
we had at the end that rhino bit.
Oh, the rhino. Yeah, so I think it has the potential to do really, really good with what we've seen so far. Again, these anti-hero movies can go either way. Like I said, Morbius was a perfect example. But as of right now, I think I'm on board with that. Though, to answer your question, does the pushback make it a bad movie? I didn't know that it was already a done movie. They're not pushing it back for reshoot.
This movie's done.
So that's kind of a good silver lining because you never want it pushed back for reasons that we're not finished or we're running behind schedule. So the fact that it's done and they were on schedule kind of offshoots why it's being delayed. The only thing that sucks is it's going to be a year. Like I'm probably still, we all still watch it, but who's going to give a shit in a year?
Well, yeah, and that brings it to my other point. It was actually going to be following the steam of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 because if you guys are fans of the game on PS5, the whole thing is about Kraven, and that movie and the game comes out October 20th. So imagine if those would have come out both back to back in October. You would have been like, I want to play the game. Oh, I know who Kraven is. I want to watch the movie, or vice versa. Because I was
looking like a perfect little fire. People actually.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's losing. Yeah, it's losing its heat right now because I was looking at the games. Marvel Spider-Man Lifetime's sales unit from 2020 to 2022 is more than 33 million copies. Imagine if half those players wanted to go see the movie. You know what I mean? That's a good chunk of change, and they would have been back to back. You would have had the Kraven game, and if you guys are watching the YouTube, I'm sure it's showing the game aspect of it. But to me, that's another big thing. I'm like, man, that was a cool timing, and now
that's why they did it.
Yeah, now it's completely wasted. So do you think it following Spider-Man the game would have helped it?
Yes.
And you think now that it's gone, it's completely
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was kind of thinking about that when I was looking at the question. I'm like, wasn't the game like timed to come out just with? I think it was supposed to be like October 12th and then October 20th or something like that.
I feel like they did that on purpose.
They would have liked that. So I think it is
free advertising.
Yeah, deal with it.
You see the trailer for the game, they're like, oh, the movie's coming out too. Let's check that out.
Yeah. So those were two big things. The other biggest thing is, and this is going to be history speaking for itself, is because you asked if Sony doing this, should it let Marvel step in and help? Well, let's take a peek because you mentioned Venom. Venom, when it came out, did extremely well. It did $856 million in the box office. That's not too shabby. However, a lot of the critic ratings weren't terribly high on this movie, but it did do well, which in turn spawned a second movie, which was the Wrath of Carnage, or Let There Be Carnage. But that took a dip. It went to 506, even though it was rated a bit better. It dropped.
I thought 2 was better than 1.
Yeah, it dropped in money. So even though it was a better movie, nobody was going there wasn't more people going to see it, right? And this is Sony's new Spider-Verse without Spider-Man. And then last but not Spider-Man. And then last but not least was Morbius, which you were right, completely tanked, $167.5 million, 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. This thing was terrible. No, CN is in love.
I want to.
CN's in love with this movie, but I will watch it. It's just when you hear these numbers and see these things, and I guess subjectivity will speak for itself.
Let's
but
watch it together.
You know what? It's done. Together. But when you look at the track record, you're almost going, yeah, why is Sony still doing this? Especially when I mentioned there's a Madam Web movie, Kraven's coming out. If Kraven,
the alternative is you get rid of a property that's still making money, though. You know what I mean? They don't want to get rid of
because the way their deal works is as long as they keep making movies that have Spider-Man and they can keep it in perpetuity, then keep making Into the Spider-Verse. Because that movie's banking. That movie went from like 500. That was the opposite. It went from like 500 million with number 1 to like over 800 million in number 2. So as long as they keep doing movies like that, because Sony can make Spider-Man movies, it just seems to be in the animated form into these ones. But again, though, look what they're doing. They're doing this anti-hero thing. Venom started off high and it went down. Morbius, nobody even gave it the time of day. So
Disney tried this. Kraven didn't work.
Yeah, Kraven's doing the same thing. So I don't know if this formula works for Sony. So looking at the numbers,
the potential's there. It's just not a strong execution. Like, it's a good premise. Like, I want to see these movies. I just want to see them good.
Yeah, but so what much to ask for? Well, what does that mean? Are they finding the wrong directors? Are they getting the wrong screenwriters? I mean, Kraven's done, so I mean, there's nothing they can do about that now. But why if this movie goes in between, let's say Venom 2 and Morbius, why do I want to see a Madam Web movie? Why would I keep my Spider-Man in the MCU? So to answer your question, I'm thinking this thing, not only did it lose steam, but if you're looking at the movies that its predecessors, there's nothing to really bank on saying that this movie is going to be well done outside of. I mean, the Morbius trailer looked dope.
Dope too. That's what I'm saying. A movie can look good in the trailer and fail like this one did. But
so I don't know. That's where I land on any of that. Was there anything else? Hey, numbers did not lie, Father.
Numbers do not lie, Father.
Was there anything else on Kraven at all, dude? Look at this picture again. Though, what is going on with his six pack, and why does it look like Moses is parting the Red Sea on that thing?
Oh, jeez.
Like, I don't know where this thing's touching and where this thing's going, but
CGI does a lot.
And again, I think I mean, you could say Jared Leto is one of the great actors, but he's not a lot of people like this Joker. When you get Aaron Taylor Johnson and you get Russell Crowe, I know, but it wasn't beloved. But when you get these two guys, I think at least they've got strong talent. So if this thing does fail, then it would purely be the writing and the directing, because you can't say that these actors didn't pull their weight.
Yeah.
At least I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
So.
It's hard to say from one trailer, but I'm sold. Well, if the number 2 trailer comes out, and we see
9 months. Because there's no way they're going to waste another trailer on anytime soon when the movie's not for another year or so. So, so that's the Venom.
Looks good and was looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's the Venom, Morbius, Kraven kind of thing. I think it has potential, but a year in time will tell. So, thank you for the question, guys, and let us know what you think about the Kraven the Hunter movie that's coming out next year. And the final question, guys, comes from Gendry H, and they write, do you guys have any arcades where you live? Or do you have a favorite arcade cabinet you always play, or any particular game you look for when you're in one? I try and always play Simpsons with my sister, and I love skee-ball. Thank you for the question. We don't really have any arcades around here. We live close enough to Vegas to where if we were going to go to like a barcade kind of scenario.
We have arcades, but they're very little and very
yeah, they're very kiddish. I know that we have one in Havasu. The closest thing we have was the River Lodge. There's a place across the river that has
even that's just one little room.
But it's like a few it still has, but it has skee ball, it has hoops, it has air hockey, it's got pool table, it's got foosball. But this is the one I wanted to point out though. It does have this game called Grand Piano Keys, which is this game, if you've never heard of it, which is like Guitar Hero kind of, right? Mm-hmm. And there's another one called, I think it's called Piano something, and it's a single version, but Grand Piano Keys is the double version. Ooh. So what happens is it goes down in a light, and you can click, 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 but the faster you can do it, the quicker it'll come down. And dude, me and Geno will go on there and I mean a couple other people that we've played with, and just hammer them out. That is a game that's fairly near us that I've always thoroughly enjoyed. What sucks is though, if you get the high score, I think they unplug them at the end of the night, so every day when you go back, it's like it's gone. So
like Wreck-It Ralph,
yeah, there's no GLC on the on the high score. As far as what I like playing is this game called Captain Commando that came out in 1991. It's a beat 'em up game developed and published by Capcom. It's insane. I'll read you the plot line quickly if you've never heard of it. A lot of people, if you're not into those kind of games, haven't. The game is set in a futuristic version of Metro City, the setting of Capcom's other beat 'em up, Final Fight. So I like that it's actually in the same world with them. And features several loose ties with the characters and settings from that game. The year is 2026. The world is filled with crime. Captain Commando and his 3 faithful commando companions rise up to erase crime from planet Earth and from the galaxy. So yeah, it's these 4 people: Captain Commando, Mac the Knife, Ginzu the Ninja, and Babyhead. Babyhead is the one I always played. It's this little like super genius baby that fights like in this robotic suit. I think his main move is like he shoots rockets like out of his knees. And so yeah, when I went to we were in Kansas for a friend's was it Kansas? Yeah, he's from Kansas City. And we went to their wedding and we went into this bar called One Up Arcade. And I was with like Denny and Matt and a few other people, and I found a Captain Commando cabinet, and we played it, went all the way to the end and beat it. And me and you recently played it because you have the port of it on your place on your.
So Xbox? I have an emulator on my Xbox that lets me go through all these games, and I didn't know he was a fan of this game. And I never even played.
I loved it. He said yes, I Captain Commando. So
I was playing it, and then I took a Snapchat, and he's like, "Dude, that's my favorite one. Who you playing as?" I'm like, "I like the regular guy because his special was good." And then he ended up cruising over, and we ended up just beating it. So it's a good game.
Yeah. So Captain Commando for me was an excellent game. So I don't know. Is there anything you look for? I love doing hoops. Yeah, in there like a free throw shoot or something.
I love the hoops. I love the skee ball. As far as a cabinet goes, like you said, you look for Simpson. That's one of mine. The other one that I always try and look for is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one. So that one was released October 11th, 1989 by Konami, and then it got ported to the NES in 1990, and that's probably where most people got to play it. And that one had 2 additional levels, 2 additional bosses. It had the polar bear and it had the little mech samurai. So it's funny because I just went to Moreno Valley, which it's okay, but we went to the mall, dude, and I had to take him to the bathroom. So I go up, and there's this huge arcade there with a bowling alley and stuff. So, and I got a little bit of footage of him playing. And I go in there, I'm like, cool, let me look around. It's all new games, man. Yeah. It's all just new shit. Like I didn't even see like an old school arcade cabinet, which kind of thing. So I did some skee ball and stuff, but Ninja Turtles, just the memories of playing with 4 people. We had, someone spend the night, and Harrah's here used to have a good arcade, and we used to go. So I always like playing the group games. And even if you're at an arcade and you're playing a group one, it's nice to see someone come over and just put a quarter down with you and just start playing. So those are my 2 favorites. Simpsons, but Ninja Turtles probably takes the cake for me.
Yeah, that was one of the things about those old arcade machines, especially the beat 'em ups. Is those are the games you could get 4 players on. And I remember there was a barcade in Vegas once upon a time called Insert Coin. And I went there with Gil one time when I was living in Vegas with him. And we started playing Simpsons. And, dude, 2 people came up, dropped their quarters, started playing with... Who was your Simpsons guy? I would like to rotate. I don't think I actually had a favorite. Simpsons, I think everyone kind of goes towards Bart. Yeah. But, dude, Marge has the vacuum.
I'm always either Bart or Homer. Because Homer just like...
Yeah, Homer just bulldozes. And then Turtle-wise...
Turtles, I'm always Donatello. And then Raphael is my follow-up.
Yeah, see, I'll do a Leonardo and then a Michelangelo split. So... anything else you want to add on arcades?
No, I mean, we did recently go to Phoenix and we beat...
the Halo game.
The Halo game with Robert Baxter.
You do see more of those, because the one in the Obby has a Halo one too, right?
So as an older one, I like House of Dead, like those shooter games, but, those are newer ones to me. Old school ones, I like playing that stuff, but I like playing the group games if we can.
Yeah, I'll still try to run it like a Miss Pac-Man machine if I see...
Jason's been playing Pac-Man.
Yeah, one of our buddy runs a pinball arcade kind of thing in Texas. I've been wanting to try to play some more pinball. It's just I don't know what the skill mechanic is behind that. Yeah, because dude, how does anybody get it if the ball's just going straight down the middle?
Oh, there's a system to it.
Yeah, I shake it. It says do not shake.
Like a legit pinball machine in our garage. Do
you remember what it was?
I have it written down because when we had gotten rid of it and sold it.
I remember like spaceships.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's definitely like a 1980s cabinet, but it was original wood, like old school.
It's real wood,
Jerry. Wood.
So, awesome, guys. That is the end of this week's episode. Like I said, a little short one just to catch up on some questions that you guys have submitted. So, guys, that is the end of episode 175. Join us next week for the next episode 176. And until then, guys, my name is Craig Perales. That is Geno Perales. Cheers.
Bang.